Hi, I'm Becky, and today we are going to be resetting my life. And maybe your life too. Sometimes when I'm deep in burnout or autistic shutdown, or I'm having an autoimmune flare-up, I start to think that I'll never be able to make any of my goals happen. I wonder if there's any point in even trying. But that's what life is all about, right? Giving it your best shot, even if circumstances are holding you back. I'm Dr. Becky Sage, I'm neurodivergent, I have a chronic illness, but those things aren't the things that I like to define me. Along the way, I've learned a few things that makes it just that little bit more possible. So if that's what you're looking for, then you're in the right place. And after several weeks in a flare-up, I am keeping it simple. Can decluttering my house really help me get out of a burnout and help me reset in a way where my dreams could become a reality? This isn't a deep cleaning tutorial. There are plenty of places to go on the internet for that. You don't need me. You don't want me, frankly. But this is a reset. Because up until a few days ago, I felt like everything was way too much. And I know that when you're flaring, when you're burnt out, when you're just over everything, or if you're starting from scratch, everything can feel impossible. So you just gotta start with something. You gotta start small. And we're gonna start with a simple declutter of my house. I'm sharing a real life reset from post-flare chaos to micro moments of clarity, because shutdown in my body and mind leads to chaos everywhere else, including my house. And I can't do anything when my house looks like this. I'm gonna use this physical decluttering to explore my deeper patterns of burnout, boundaries, and starting again. Because spring cleaning isn't just about the house. It's about your head, your habits, your whole damn life. This isn't just a tidy up vlog, but things do really need to be tidied. Now, my reset has been a long time coming. I've had some real struggles over the last few months with my health. Anyone who's followed me here for a while will know that I haven't shown up for like a year. And there's a couple of reasons for that, including my health, but also including some work that I took on. I got overloaded. And this had a really negative impact on my health. I continually last year was being burnt out. Every single time I tried to take a break, I would get quite sick with different viruses. And I have just come out of a 8-week autoimmune flare-up. And throughout all of this, my autistic brain is like, where are my nice structures? Where are my nice processes? Like, how am I meant to deal with all of this uncertainty all of the time? It's not been easy. It also means that I wasn't having time to spend time with the important people in my life, or to do the things that I need to do to keep me healthy, or to do the things that I enjoyed doing. Even having downtime. A crash is very, very different to a rest. And I didn't really know how bad all this was until I came out of the other side. And it's taken a month now of just not being able to do anything. I finished that job. I've had some other bits of work going on over the last month, but most of it's been spent sleeping, resting on the sofa, in bed, and I'm just about starting to be able to recharge myself again. So the thing I keep on wondering is, why do I keep getting trapped in this same cycle? And they say the definition of madness is doing the same thing over and over again and then expecting different results, which I haven't been doing. I learn every single time I go through a burnout, every single time I go through a flare-up. Maybe I just don't learn quickly enough. Maybe I don't learn the right things. So this time around, I've been digging into why. And I think it boils down to a few things. I think one of the key things is, sorry, I can't help but listen to that. Oh, and what am I doing right now? I'm decanting oil from a big, oh God, I'm making a horrible mess. I think one of the key things is that I don't think that I'm enough. So as soon as I get out of these burnout cycles, I think that in order to realign my life, in order to have a career that works really, really well for me, I've still got to push really hard. Somebody I worked with the other day said, just think about like right now, how can you be in alignment? Like how can you live the life right now that you need to live? In the past, that wouldn't have been so easy. And because I have taken steps along the way, it is a little easier to do that now. Because the things I've done in my life, the experiences I've had, the qualifications I've got, the skills I've got, they weren't driven by the things that I was passionate about necessarily. They were driven by how do I pay my bills right now? Where are other people saying that I'm worthy to do something? I would focus on doing those things. And then that meant I had to have a whole bunch of space outside of that dedicated to the things that I do enjoy, that are important. And inevitably, I would try and do everything and then get really, really stressed out. And so these are definitely the patterns. Over time, I have made changes and I've adapted, and I haven't got exactly to where I want to go. And clearly I've still been in burnout and I'm still going through these patterns. I have got over it quicker this time. Got through it a lot better. I only had one meltdown, like in a whole of a flare-up, so that's pretty good going. How can I construct my life right now, given the circumstances that I'm in, to not get flare-ups and burnouts and live in pain every single day? I've got oil on the floor. Now, one of the reasons getting my autism diagnosis was just so important is because it did allow me to start adjusting things. And in many ways, I don't think I was able to fully adjust until I got that diagnosis. That's really enabled me to understand myself better and advocate for myself better and to manage my life in a way that is right for me. And before that, I felt like I was just such an outsider. Like life isn't possible to do in a way that doesn't cause you pain and doesn't cause you an awful lot of stress and distress. And having the diagnosis has actually really helped me to realize that actually, no, we don't have to, work, for example, doesn't have to be done in a certain way. You can do it in ways that work for you. But I'm privileged enough to be in a position where I can build a working life that works for me. So why do I keep overworking? Why do I keep overburdening myself? Overwork for me isn't actually where the issues come in. So burnout has many different factors. Overwork is just one of the pieces of those puzzles. So for me, working a lot by itself doesn't cause me to get to a place of burnout. So it's not about working a lot, because guess what? I like working. And to me, certain types of working are no more stressful than like not working than what, like going for a walk or going to the shops or socializing or whatever. Like those things are just as stressful as doing certain parts of work. When I burn out, it's often because I haven't given myself enough space to do those other creative things. And why is that? Because I don't prioritize the creative things. I don't prioritize the things that are the most important to me. I prioritize the things that other people are demanding, and that's a really normal thing. We want to show that we're doing good work. So guess what? I've managed to prove that I'm really, really great at doing a whole bunch of things, but that whole bunch of things are things that sometimes are going to cause me to actually be unwell. So one of the patterns I have to break is exactly that. It's prioritizing the things in my working life that nourish me, that nurture me, that make me feel like I'm expanding and that I'm growing and I'm learning and that I'm actually creating something of value. Why don't I do that more? Because I personally don't think I can do those things. Even from when I was very young, I was always told I wasn't the creative person. I still carry a lot of that says I'm not good enough. How can I make money? How can I make enough money? And of course, money is the other aspect that comes into all of this. Why do I say yes to like almost all of the opportunities that come along? It's because I don't feel safe, and I feel like I'm the person who is responsible for my own safety, my own security, my own financials. That requires you to keep saying yes to work, right? So one of the lessons that I've learned is actually it doesn't work like that, because if I was doing work that was really nourishing to me, then I would maybe even be able to sustain work inside, like working for somebody else. But because of the way my career's gone, and a lot of this came from being undiagnosed, both with my autoimmune condition and with my autism, I wasn't able to sustain jobs within like the corporate sector because I was doing exactly what I've been talking about. I was doing all the things for everyone, running around, people pleasing, everything else, and getting the work done, doing a good job, and then burning out and not being able to be consistent at it, feeling really rubbish about myself, going into mental health spirals. And that's why in the past, I haven't been able to kind of keep consistently showing up. And that means I don't trust myself now to keep consistently showing up, even though I know the reasons that have stopped me from showing up. Like, can I actually hold my nerve and do what I know I need to do the things that I know work best for me, and actually be able to do that in a way that is sustainable, doesn't totally drain my energy, doesn't lead me to more burnout. And really just accepting that I'm enough right now, doing the things that feel in alignment right now are the right things. And I've just got to get on and do that and be brave about doing that. Because that's the final point here, really. Have I been courageous enough to do the things that are the things that I want to do the most, and actually really put them out there and really put myself out there? Well, that's what we're going to try. And again, I'm lucky to have a lot of experience behind me now, so that it's strategic things where I can make a lot of difference. I can see quite quickly what needs to be done, how it needs to be done, in a way that maybe people who have a different type of brain to me, or who are less experienced in the things that I'm experienced in, they can't see those things. So it does help to be at a more senior level. And like I said before, it also helps to focus on things that are the most important and the most interesting to me. Make our special interests our jobs. That's the goal. I'm gonna have lovely soft hands after all of this. Can you believe I still have like 2 rooms left to clean after this one? One of the things I know to be true about myself is that time is not really the limiting factor a lot of the time. It's actually energy levels, because I spend an awful lot of my time sleeping, lying on the sofa, watching television, crying, crashing, all of these different things. If I didn't have to spend as much time doing all of those things, then I would be able to kind of show up more like I would want to as well. And so, at the rheumatology hospital, one of the things they talked to us about was, can we actually replace crashing with methods that are going to keep our energy levels consistent? And really, as I go forward, that's what I need to be looking at. What's going to keep my energy levels consistent? Because I think I know some of those answers, and no, I don't think. Like, I do know those answers, but I haven't been able to make it work in my life. And so I've got to figure out what is going on that means that those things that I know to be true about conserving energy levels, and I honestly don't think those things go against what I need to do to work, to deliver, to hit goals in any of my working environments. But it still seems to keep happening. And actually, I feel like it gets harder as I get older. So this is something that I'm going to be examining through a whole series of different YouTube videos as we move on. I think the biggest barrier to me actually achieving the things I need to achieve is like really putting boundaries about the activities I do in my working life. I've never been brave enough to really go for it in the areas I want to go for it in. And I think that that's going to make the biggest difference right now. I think that I can add value with content, with training, with speaking, with being like all of this being my job, and not having to be like, oh, that's a bit on the side and then I do some other things and all those other things are the important things. No, these are the important things now. Building the business that is mine instead of keep being distracted by other people's business and other people's desires, goals, objectives. I kind of look around me sometimes and think, especially with a lot of my friends and colleagues, that they're the main characters in their lives, and I don't feel like that in my life, which is really interesting because I actually live quite a selfish life, and I kind of sit here and in my own little life that I've constructed for myself, and it's somewhat comfortable in many ways, but I don't feel like the main character. I feel like a non-playable character most of the time, and most of the time I feel non-playable because I'm sat in like crashing or burning out or just feeling so far away, so misaligned. I feel like the paths I took early on were the wrong paths, and it's taken a lot to get back. Obviously that means that the right path is a different right path than it was before. We've carved out something entirely new. What are the barriers to me doing the things that I know are healthy for me? Well, it's that I haven't done those things before, and I don't necessarily trust myself to do those things, and they're not proven to me, so I don't know how to do those things. But maybe that sounds naive. It's something I really feel like I need to try though, and I really do trust myself and my own instinct in that. In summary, I've often felt like I'm not good enough. I've often felt like I need to use skills that I'm good at, but ignored the things that I am passionate about or that I'm interested in. And so all my energy goes into doing those things that I've kind of said I can do because I know that's what other people want. And none of my energy goes into the things that actually then amplify my energy. And that's really the crux of why I end up in burnout all the time. Unfortunately, burnout is not new to me, but it keeps surprising me anyway. One minute I'm functioning, I'm excited, I've got these dreams, these goals, these tasks, things that I want to get done. And the next minute, I'm just cracked open. I'm Humpty Dumpty, lying on the floor, and there are no king's horses or king's men to put me back together again. So I guess I just got to do it myself. Burn out. Disappear, rebuild. But this time I'm interrupting the loop. I'm not going to let it go on for as long as it has before. And guess what? I haven't. I've managed to break out of the burnout more quickly. I've managed to break out of the burnout without it really impacting my mental health, which is an incredibly powerful position to be in. The world isn't a perfect place and our circumstances aren't perfect. But if we can start to deal with them better, then that is powerful. One of my big goals this year is to meet myself before the crash. Make the changes before I crash. Now, I didn't quite manage that this time around, but as we go forward, I have made more space in my working life, and I want to create the space in my home. So I don't buy myself flowers all that often, and I didn't buy myself these ones either, or the other ones, for a couple of reasons. One, because you have to clear them up like this. I don't have a garden, so it's a little bit messy. We'll just go in the compost, I think, today. And all that leftover lovely old flower water. Yeah, especially at times like this when I haven't been able to, clean things up and keep them tidy and everything else. However, I actually do really love getting flowers. And the other reason is the kind of sustainability aspect of getting fresh flowers. And the ethics of it. However, I do think it is a nice treat in moderation. And of course, they aren't cheap either. But it is a nice treat. I do like having flowers. And I got these flowers from somebody else. And I also got the flowers I got over there from somebody else. So these ones came from work on my birthday, and the other ones came from a friend of mine who knew that I was really, really struggling. So that meant a lot to like get that through the post is a surprise. They came from Freddie's flowers too, and apparently Freddie cares about the sustainable, fresh flowers. So this does actually mean something to me, and it's really helpful as I go through this transition, because one of the things that has changed a lot for me over the years is the amount of support and care I feel like I've got. So I really do feel like I have much more of a safety net now than I used to, and I'm much more kind of supported by other people. So even though I still live a very independent life, I still like having my own space, I still like doing things my own way, I do feel like I've got that community around me, and that actually can make all the difference when you're going through things. Although I have to say, when I'm actually going through a flare-up, I really don't reach out very much at all. It's a struggle. I find it, it does take energy to reach out to people and be around people. I guess that my close people understand that, which is really nice also. But as I jump into this new era of my life, this new chapter, I really feel like it makes it easier because I know I've got a community around me. And it's taken a long time for me to build the community that I have now, and to feel safe within that community. It's most of the people who are close to me have come to me through my hobbies and through my work. And so we've built up gradually over time, and then one day I look up and realize, oh yeah, there's these really important people around me in my life. And of course my family as well. And one of my reasons for wanting to make changes is because I don't spend enough time with those people I care about, because I run out of that social battery very, very easily. And usually that's used up in my work and going through more stressful situations. So I've got to reconstruct my working life so that it can support me to actually collaborate with the people I really want to collaborate with, and support me to be able to just have that downtime and actual space for people who really matter. To me, decluttering is never really about adding another thing to the list. It's not about productivity. It's actually about nurturing something that's really important to me. My home is a really special space to me. So taking care of it is the same thing as taking care of myself. It's a way to indicate that I matter, that my physical space matters. And it's a way to create some of that space and nurturing that I can be really guilty of avoiding. I find clutter very anxiety driving. So to get rid of the clutter and to have space in my home takes away from some of that extra load that is going on in my brain. It's just something else that can be released. So that's incredibly powerful. The self-nurturing is incredibly powerful, and creating a place that feels like a haven to me, where I can come back to and actually rest when I'm here and not just see a lot of other tasks to do. But more importantly, when you're coming out of a burnout or a flare-up or whatever it is that you're going through, it's those small steps that make a difference. And with something like cleaning up, you can spend a short amount of time and maybe you just focus on one area and you create that into a space that feels good. By doing that, you're showing yourself that you do have the power to make a change. It might seem tiny in the grand scheme of things. Having a clean area of your house might not be the lifetime goal in terms of the impact that you want to make, but it's a small step. And that's incredibly powerful when you're coming from a place where you haven't been able to take any steps at all. For me, I didn't clean everything. I didn't make everything perfect. I have broken a cycle. and I have given myself the proof that I can do something. And that can be a nice little confidence boost when your confidence needs some boosting. If you're resetting too, burning out, flaring up, starting over, I see you. And I would love to know what small things you do to help you come back to yourself. I'm Dr. Becky Sage, this is Power Moves, and I'd love to see you here again soon. If you like what you hear, if you're feeling just 1% a little bit more powerful, then please don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the notification bell so that we can continue to rebuild that power together.